saved. Like it saves to my computer also. So then all of
See,
that, like anything that you need, I can send it to you and you can download it.
oh, I got you. Or
So
hey, you
anything
could.
like when I'm on live, then it
Mhm.
also when I'm live on OBS, it also saves. Also, it's saving to
It
my
saves a
computer also.
file. It saves a file on
Hmm.
the computer. Ooh, that's good because I mean, again, I'm trying to put some content over to the Facebook page. So,
Heck yeah.
eventually we gonna have to leave Facebook anyways because like I got like four warnings today. I got like four fact checker warnings today, and I'm like, are you serious, man? Like,
you,
I'm
you
so
why you
sick of
hold
the
on,
fact
Nikki?
check.
Why you give God? Why you be starting stuff all the time, Nikki?
I'm not starting stuff.
You did
It just
something, and what?
no, it's just the stuff I post. Facebook. We've agreed that Facebook, censors things that people post. So,
What were
like
you
if
talking about? You were talking about the goofy juice.
yeah, I'm talking about the
So
goofy
why you
Jews
keep talking about that? It's,
because it's go
you
hard or
feel
go home
compelled.
shit.
Missing that.
But I know,
Go
right?
hard
But
or
it,
go
but it, but
home.
it almost doesn't even matter like what I say. I can totally code it, and they'll still throw me up a fact checker warning, and I'm like, I got this shit from the end, like from your from your server. I got this from Facebook. But yeah, I got like four fact checker warnings today, and I was like, really, really, really. So I thought about it. I was like, man, my time is probably coming to an end over here on this
Yeah, I
Facebook.
be thinking I've never. I'm gonna stay away from you. I ain't never been flagged
Well, and my fear
ever.
is that's well, but you don't even really be posting like that. My fear is
No, I
that
don't.
it's gonna get the group page shut down, and I was like,
Yeah,
man,
that's it. Probably gonna happen.
I can't do that. All right, so we're up on free thinkers. Okay, good, 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 good,
Somebody
good,
gonna
good.
ask me the wrong thing one day, and I'm definitely gonna get like banned for good.
But you never even had a warning, so they probably like you
I
so not
know,
on the
but I'm
radar.
saying if you engage in me with a conversation about the right topic, then you gonna hear it from me.
It might happen.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
did you
there's
see the Boosie interview on the Breakfast Club?
no,
Okay, don't worry about it then.
no. Go ahead. I'm so curious.
No,
What did he
no, no,
say
no. He's
now?
just no. He's doubling down and he didn't pull the baby move. He like
Right.
y'all not gonna back me down. I believe in what I say. I'm trying to stand up for my kids and stand up for these children. Y'all trying to put these ideas and impressions on children, and they too little for y'all to be trying to force agendas on them. Now he said in
Yeah.
different words, but
Right.
nobody
Right.
agrees with that right now. Nobody wants to talk about that. And I'm not saying I agree with him 100%, but he's just like,
Right.
y'all not gonna back me down off of what I'm gonna say. I don't care what happens. So
True that. I
that
mean,
type of
and
stuff.
I guess for me, the issue should be even more like broad. It should be the sexualization of children. Period. Not even just pushing gay shit on kids or lifestyle or whatever. Because I'll probably get some backlash for the way I just said what I said. But
You
like,
are.
but
You
I'm just
hold on, Nikki. You know what be scaring me too though? Like, do you ever go back like I don't like on a meeting sometime and then they like put your stuff in words? Like they do the captions. So everything that you saying then it's like in words on the bottom of the screen.
mhm,
So
mhm.
I'm like, even just doing the audio, I'm like, they probably going over everything you saying because the captions are checking the words and they still probably filtering that
Mm.
stuff.
Well, that's how I got that 30-day ban on Black Tea Talk. I had posted something in the comment section, and within like 10 seconds, they're like, "We're done. You're done." And I was like, "Dang! I just got out like the day before, or whatever." So, uh, they,
So what do you feel about Goofy Juice, Nikki?
you know how I feel about Goofy
So
What is
Juice.
what?
goofy
But
juice?
that's the
Who is that?
coded word that the Dr. Bright.
Hey, Mr. Doctor. I
You
said
see that
Mr.
code
Doctor.
emblem he got? He got the R and the B on there. His emblem is code.
Well,
Thank
I
you.
mean,
You like my
we
emblem?
have our faces on his show. I just assumed he would have his face on our show
No,
too. So yeah.
he don't want to be.
I'm going to. I'm finishing doing something. I don't
Don't
need
believe
everybody
that.
in my
Don't
face.
believe that.
But I appreciate.
I appreciate you for jumping in though tonight. Thanks for coming to the conversation.
So Goofy Juice is the
Absolutely.
code word that on Black Tea Talk we use that as the code word to instead of saying the V word that gets Nikki so often flagged and banned, we use different terminology so
We
that
have to use
they don't
code
flag us.
words because there are
Well,
words that the algorithms look for.
I certainly want to talk about your post from today, Nikki.
Ooh, me too. Me too. We can talk about Goofy Juice for a little bit because I do know
We
that.
ain't got to talk about it. I'm just
No, I don't have a problem talking
you
about it.
want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it, but I don't mind talking about it, especially in the format right now because
I was
can
just saying it to mess with you. I really don't. It don't
I
matter
can
to
say
me.
what I need to say, and
Oh, yeah.
and really
You
people
want to
can
talk
hear the
about it.
perspective that I come from because it's not, oh, she's just this dumb, tinfoil hat wearing, like, just started to believe in some of this, crazy ass shit like yesterday type of
Get it
stuff.
off your
Like
chest. Tell us how you feel.
I mean, it's not on my chest to get off, but I just, I
feel
can't.
It, it's on your
I'm
chest.
not with it. I'm not with it. Because I guess that's all I'm gonna say is, we have right now. Most of us have the choice, and I'm just choosing not to. I prefer to exercise my body autonomy and keep my body as healthy as I possibly can and stay out of people's way, and that's my contribution to society. But
and so you're anti-goofy period. You no goofy
yeah
past, present, future,
yeah.
children, everything. That's just
well, my children were I wasn't I haven't been like this since like the birth of my children. I would say after my second son is when I started to really kind of be like, why are we doing 4 injections at one time? Why are we doing,
right.
6 injections at one time? And there would just become things that, you start following certain channels. I don't mean literally, but you start following certain channels and information just becomes more widely accessible. And, kind of like we've talked about many times, I think that with the access to information that we have today, it's just allowed my concept and my knowledge of, what's in them, what damages they certainly have been known to cause, to decide that, like no more. So no, haven't been like since day one, but like if I ever had another kid, it would never see another needle ever. Never.
Oh, now that is the other thing I'm gonna say. My whole thing is it stays the same. Whatever you're doing, you have a real educated reason on why you choose to or choose not to do it.
Yeah.
Like for you got a reason. You've done your homework and your education. If you ain't did your homework or your education, you just saying it just because. And some of y'all, let me be honest, some people just ain't doing it because they scared of needles and they don't want to put no needle in their arm. That's not a reason not to do it, just because you scared.
No, don't let that be the reason because it sounds like a really dumb reason. Like that means you probably have other reasons. You're just using that as your scapegoat. Like you don't want to get it because
a lot of people will use your reasons as their scapegoat, and they really don't even know why they're doing it. They just hear somebody else saying this and saying that. But the truth is they just scared of needles and they don't want somebody putting a needle in them.
I can't see somebody being that damn scared of needles, though. Nikki, that would be the reason.
You remember I was a guinea pig for a decade. Trust me.
Yeah, you're right.
You, but I can't imagine. I'm with Nikki. I can't imagine that being the reason. I mean, of all,
if it's so life or death, right? Like the way they're trying to make it out to be. If it's so life or death, I'm gonna go ahead and take one for the team. But
because I have to say, I know people who are very afraid of needles that did do it.
Right.
Because they're more afraid of the virus than they're afraid of the needle.
I'm talking about deathly afraid of needles.
It's a matter of what are you more afraid of.
Right.
So if you're more afraid of dying than you are the needle, then you're gonna go ahead and put the needle in you.
Okay, let me get to
that's how I think most people are approaching it. They're gonna do it or they're not gonna do it, one or the other. But I just think that being afraid of needles is like the cop out for like why the person really doesn't want to get it, but they probably just don't want to say why they don't want to get it because you see what's happening right now. how the media has got, society being, jabbed versus unjabbed, and how, like, God forbid you be one of the unjabbed, like, you are the problem. And
Something
it's
ain't
like,
right with that either. Now, there's
no, it's
definitely something
not.
wrong with that. There's
But
an
you see how heavy they're
alternative
pushing
agenda.
it, though. Like,
They pushing it hard, and it's an agenda
when I was
that I
in
question.
Chicago in July, that's one of the things I had noticed just watching a different city's local news. Like, you just kind of don't think about stuff until you just, I don't know, whatever. So I'm sitting there watching local news in Chicago, and it was just, again, it's not my hometown. I don't know anything about anywhere they're talking about, but it was just like redundant were the newscasters. Hold on, I'm inviting a few people. Sorry. Add a stream. Sorry. Dang. Here we go. Okay, sorry. So it was crazy how many of the newscasters were talking about, getting the jab, and literally, shame on you if you don't. And it was like, dang.
Let me ask you a question, Nikki. How many people do you know who've died from COVID?
I mean, at least a handful. Now, not all of them were like my personal, but at least a handful.
Right.
Now, been struck down with COVID, shit, tons at this point now.
Right. Dr. Bright, how many people do you know that have died from COVID?
Personally, no. 6.
Wow.
Edward, what about you?
Sorry, I was back and forth. I'm actually at work.
Of course, you know that.
So I've known, you said how many people do we personally know?
If I would say something about church, he would have jumped right on there.
Oh, I'm listening.
Yeah, he's got great divided attention. I noticed last week. I'm like, I can't do 2 things at once for nothing.
You keep jabbing at Edward. How many people do you personally know that has died from COVID?
I've personally known 3, but my coworkers, as far as like, I've got 5 different coworkers right now on bereavement leave because they're going to funerals. And that's just on my team. So that's a third of my team are out right now for funerals.
So then I'm walking down my train of thought. What other pandemic or what other disease or what other instance do you know that you can speak to the same type of situation? Like, I can't speak to that since the 90s, back in the crack era. But I'm saying, like, in what other instance? Because even AIDS, even back when AIDS was at its worst, you didn't see people dying, that many people dying in that short of a time span. No, whether it was the flu, whether it was bird flu, swine flu, like what else Ebola. Have you saw? Yeah, what else have you saw like that?
Yeah, the closest things we've had in recent history at all were the Ebola breakout and then the H1N1 bird flu, and neither one of those came even close, because I think Ebola took out less than 20 people, something like that. But it was super scary because Ebola is probably the ugliest death you can have. And then the bird flu, that took out like a few hundred, something like it took out more than Ebola did, but didn't even come close to this. And this, we lost over 500,000 over the course of, what was it, like 6 months, less than 6 months, 500,000 people just in America. And then globally, it was well over 1 million.
And, just kind of statistically, I just kind of did a brief lookup. Seems like that when you look at death totals of COVID people versus flu, 18.5% of people with COVID have died, while 5.3% with flu have died. So basically, COVID is almost 5 times more deadly than the flu.
Yeah, and the bigger issue was like flu. Yeah, people were trying to compare the two, and they're comparable in the sense that like symptoms are similar, but the flu also doesn't cause permanent organ damage. So they found because things like my ex she donated a kidney when she was in college to her best friend. It causes permanent kidney damage. So she's perfectly healthy otherwise, but she couldn't risk getting it even if she was going to be fine and just have mild symptoms. she could still have permanent kidney damage. And when you only have one, right, you can't risk that.
So yeah, that's my answer. I mean, I think that for me, that's what sums it up for me.
What sums it up for you? What are you saying?
The amount of people who have died in such a short period of time that's in my proximity and in my reach, versus how I've never seen anything like that before. And it's very tangible as far as the effects. It's very close to home. So because of that, I cannot compare it to, I know smallpox was bad a long time ago, but I haven't had that experience.
Yeah, that was well before any of our time.
Right. So that's just, and even when I hear people like Tiara talk about how she couldn't breathe, that's some scary shit.
Yeah, and right now, because so many people are getting sick, and because of how long it takes to recover, the hospitals, what was it? They were saying Houston is at like 85% capacity for ICU and that kind of thing. So if you've got anything else, you're in a car accident, you have a heart attack, anything like that, you can't get a bed because there's so many people in the hospital for this. There's no room for any other kind of sickness. Like, you're lucky if you can get in.
And you're talking about long-term effects. Like, I had COVID in February, and only now am I fully functional. There are times when I absolutely am like completely lethargic. Like, I just don't have the energy. I call in from work, because I can't go to work because I can't do anything. I'm stuck, and only now, I think this in the last maybe 4 weeks is the first time I haven't been out a day from being sick.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have long hauler symptoms, and they estimate that people are going to continue to be those people, for some people forever, because of the damage that was done to the lungs or the lung tissue, nervous system issues, nerve. There's so much about this thing that we're just learning about as time is going on,
Yeah, it's a brand new disease. Science, this is one of the first times that we've had something where science was able to deal with it live time. So it's causing a lot of confusion for people. They're like, why do they keep changing their mind? They're not changing their mind. They're learning new information, and they're just telling us as they're learning it. Like every other vaccine we've ever had, it was 50, 100 years before our time. The science was done. They figured it out. The mistakes they made were well before any of us were alive to hear about them. This one, they're learning as they're going and able to produce equipment to try and deal with it at the same time. And we've got instant media to hear about. Oh, it came out. Oh, they changed their mind. Well, this new study learned this new thing. So people are making the mistake of thinking that means science doesn't work. No, the fact that they're changing their mind is proof that, yeah, as they learn new information, they rearrange their thoughts on it, and they attack it with this new information based off of that. If you get new data and you don't pay attention to it, that's a problem.
Yeah, but when you don't take precautions because you are having your, proverbial nuts squished by the powers that be, that you do things like tell people, take your mask off, you're fine if you're vaccinated, you're completely okay. You do things like, tell people, oh, well, you don't have to social distance anymore, you're jabbed up, you're okay. Like, actually, you still have to take precautions. And a lot of the times those precautions were not taken because the powers that be, these organizations, are being put in positions to where they have to make the people with money happy. And these businesses being closed down, these schools being shut down, these, slowed access to services being affected, the country changing, they made the people happy and the people got sick again.
Yeah, World
Two
Health
things can be right at one time.
Take your mask off.
Sure. But when those types of decisions
helpful.
are made with not the people's best interest at heart, but the financiers' interests at heart, we got an ethical problem.
Two things can be
foundationally.
right at one time, though, Nikki.
Well,
I definitely
maybe so.
I definitely think that there's certain agenda that goes beyond just we're solely looking out for the health of people. They're looking out for the economy
Right.
also.
Right.
But I can't so strongly worry about that to the point that I'm not taking care of myself and knowing and kind of
Right.
paying attention to what will be best for me and my family.
Right.
Yeah, I don't care about the economy. I'm listening to the people, and you do have to look at your sources. If it's coming from a news station that you know always slants one direction, not something worth paying attention to. If it's coming from, like someone making an example before, if Big Tobacco paid for the study on lung cancer, obviously they're paying you to come up with a certain answer, right?
All
So
of these
sources from
sorry.
who isn't affected by that. You know, that's why you look at like the World Health Organization, because their money comes from every country, right?
They have handlers, and those handlers are the ones that get to say so. So those same cigarette people and those same, carcinogenic, including ingredients, like all these same people, they're all the same people. It sounds good for them to have our best interests at heart. And I don't think that they want everybody to get this thing and die. I mean, that certainly wouldn't be any good. But it's not about the news sources that it comes from. I mean, we know doctors are paid. Doctors have been paid to write opiate prescriptions for 20 years. Doctors are paid to keep people addicted to pain medication and benzos and barbiturates. And now on the flip side, of course, there's many doctors who are still in it for the goodness and the good reasons that they got into the medical profession for. But so many of them are bought. So many of them are easy. So many of them get paid by pharmaceutical companies. They get kickbacks. I mean, they're part of legislation. They're part of the people that say, oh, well, if this bad thing happens because of this injection, you can't sue us. You have no liability. Like, nothing about those things is reputable. So it's not
Do you
just
think
about
this is a part of
the
population
news.
control?
I do. It's working. How many people have died so far?
So let me ask again. I'm not going to disagree with you. I'm just saying, if you think this, do you think that smallpox and the Black Plague and the bubonic, do you also think that was the 1% using population control then also?
Because I personally haven't studied a lot of those viruses, like as in depth as I have things that have been more recent. I don't want to be ignorant and say, oh, definitely, because I really don't know the history of a lot of those things. But if they pretty much went the same way, I feel like a lot of the things that have happened in the past are the test runs, right? The trial runs that we just keep, let's try this one and we try this one and we try this one. They're social experiments. See how people react.
So you think
see how people respond.
You think the whole world was in on this disease? So we'll ignore the past one.
No, the whole world is definitely not. Look how many people don't believe that there's anything to question. So the whole world is definitely not in on it. No, there's enough of the powers that be that know that what chemicals are in there and what it's doing to people and how they've lied about testing and how they've lied and withheld treatment and how they have made billions and billions and billions of dollars off of this, off of people being ill. There's just, again, the credibility for me is just, it's not there.
So I've got a question for you. So yeah. I absolutely, and don't get me wrong, I'm fully in belief of a conspiracy where, yes, there's money involved. Like you see, war is clearly big money, right? So we all know money goes missing, people line their pockets, no problem. Follow the money, that sort of thing. But my question for this is, for something where it's a massive disease, where globally the economy took a hit that isn't profiting people. So for someone to be doing this as a conspiracy, they would have to be willing to convince these various governments, every government in the world, to take a massive economic hit as well so that they could make a profit. So who's going to agree to lose billions of dollars in their economy? Because like our stock market's tanked when everybody has to work from home. All those restaurants that closed, all those things that are happening, that's money lost.
There's always casualties in war. We know that. There's always going to be casualties in war.
Oh, but the difference is war doesn't cost the governments anything. It's all profit for us.
You got to spend a little bit of money to make a little bit of money. So they give out these free vaccines, but they won't give my son free insulin. They give out these free vaccine, and they offer you joints for jabs, and they'll give you a free cheeseburger, and they'll give you some more shit to clog your hearts with. But they don't tell you take some vitamin C, some vitamin D, some melatonin, some quercetin, some NAC, some pine needle tea. They don't tell you to do any of those things. They just say, go get it, because if you don't get it, you're going to die. And the people that are telling you to get it are people who have manipulated the system for decades. And people are concerned, people are scared, people are not sure what the fuck to do. I understand that, but it's, you asked if I think that everybody's on board. You don't have to have everybody on board to be able to pull this off, but they've been pulling these types of things off. They've been lying to us. They've been concealing information. They've been hurting us. They've been using us as test dummies. They've been poisoning us. They allow chemicals in our food in the United States that are banned in other countries.
That's my point, Nikki.
It just goes on and on and on.
But that's what I'm saying. Since they've been doing that, and they find a way to economically stimulate themselves in the process of killing us in that way, why would they have to, like Edward said, why would they have to use means that would also cripple the economy at the same time, when they're already fulfilling that agenda in so many different ways?
You have to level the playing field. They need more middle class to be lower class. They need there to be less of a power structure that can do what?
The middle class is already bought and owned.
Yeah, but we were fucked a year and a half ago. A year and a half ago, we got royally fucked. There were people who never thought they'd be a lower class citizen, a lower bracket citizen, who are like, damn, I don't foresee me getting up out of here, because all I've ever done professionally is a field that no longer exists.
Hang on. The problem
educationally.
The problem with your theory is the upper class.
It's not a theory.
To see where they are. Well, if you want to follow the money, right? If you're talking about conspiracies are all about money. The middle class.
It's a major motivator. They're about power. They're about power and control, and then money usually goes along with that.
I'm talking.
Well, I want to make sure you're correct if you're going to speak on me. It's about power and control, and the money generally follows that.
I'm not done with my sentence. They were under control, but to make money, you don't make money by making people unemployed. That costs you money. You keep people able to work. No, the middle class,
they become dependent.
The upper class, as long as they're working and buying stuff.
They become dependent.
Okay, time out for a second. Sir, I forgot your name because you ain't been on here in so long. What's your name again, sir? Yes. Stokely, I forgot your name, sir. Jump in. What are you thinking, sir?
He ain't finna give me no mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. I learned that the other day.
That is for sure. Oh, what's going around? Nobody's getting mouth to mouth. So, no, I'm here listening, and I mean, some good points. Talking about how, I have to kind of agree, with how the economy has taken a hit based on what we've been going through the last 18, 19 months. And I just can't see the whole world conspiring to make that happen. It's beyond me. Now, Nikki had a great point. Here it is, they're giving away free shit for you to get the vaccination.
But it's not free.
Yeah, well, you're hang on.
You're already paid for it.
Right, I understand that. But to the lay person, it is free. When you say, come get this hamburger with extra mayonnaise on that motherfucker, it's free to them because they're being told that it's free. So with that being said, I'm here, and some people disagree with how I feel about the vaccination and all this, but I grew up I was a teenager, a young adult in the 90s. And I realized then when AIDS was out there and how easily it was contracted and passed on and given to people, look, I just wasn't doing my thing. I was just like, okay, well, y'all go ahead and do your thing, but I'm not. And so, excuse me. And that was a choice. I hate to conflate the two, but here we have a virus that is spreading easily. I mean, now we have the Delta that, you look at somebody, you liable to get it, So with that being said, I'd rather have some protection than no protection. And again, I try my best, and I can't be for certain that people that are around me are not vaccinated, but I just do my thing. I wear my mask to protect myself and those around me. And, and I know I can still get it. Nikki and I had a conversation the other day about that. Yeah, I know I can still get it, but the likelihood of me going under and y'all losing me, God forbid that to happen, I'll still be here.
Yeah, keep the odds as low as possible. And the biggest difference between the AIDS epidemic and this one was AIDS wasn't airborne. Right. You had the ability, like if you minded your own business and you didn't touch people and stuff like that, you couldn't get it. Sure, they didn't necessarily know that at the time, but yeah, you couldn't get it from breathing in the same room as other people. This one is so contagious, especially the Delta variant. It's so absolutely contagious that simply walking through a room with someone who chose not to get vaccinated and they don't know that they're carrying it around, you're like my ex who has one kidney, she can't get a shot, right? Her immune system, she's not eligible. She's not allowed to get vaccinated. But if she also catches it, she's screwed because she's only got one kidney and they know it causes permanent kidney damage. So other people's choices of not to do something, it's different when it only affects you. But this doesn't. It's like drunk driving. You can say, well, if I want to drink, I can drink. Well, that's fine. But don't get on the road where everyone else who didn't drink is affected by your problems, right? There is a difference. So your individual freedoms are fine when it only affects you, whether or not you use it or not. But if your individual freedom directly impacts everyone else around you, you don't let people like run around just shooting guns into the air. You can celebrate and make noise, but that bullet comes down and affects someone else. That's when the rules change. Your personal freedoms are fine as long as they don't inflict on other people's.
Tiara, what are you thinking?
Okay, so I want to get because I came in and the conversation had already started, and I got some points I want to
go ahead.
But
go back as far as you need to.
I want to get the original question so I can make sure I'm addressing the original question. What was the original question?
I came in late too.
It was general.
Asked.
I said, tell me, I was kind of joking because she be about to get banned from Facebook for talking about this all the time. So I'm like, obviously you're passionate about it. You keep getting kicked off of Facebook for talking about it. So I'm like, tell me, how do you feel about it? So that was just a basic question.
In general or the vaccine?
The jab.
The goofy juice.
The goofy juice.
We don't.
The jab.
We're not
the goofy
inviting.
Juice.
We're not trying to get flagged over here.
Okay. The goofy juice. Okay. So I think what people have difficulty with that particular goofy juice is because of historic basis that never got fixed. That trust was broken so long ago, and it never been healed and repaired and addressed. And people have been compensated for whatever problems that came about, that you have what we kind of created today, right? And then also you have a communication problem. You have two administrations, right, that have had to deal with this vaccination just in this country, not also having to also deal with other countries, right? So you got two administrations approaching this totally different. The communication is not in sync. If you have a household that's divided, of course the kids are going to be confused. Like that starts right there, the confusion with a lot of people. You have people that are divided on basically principle as far as who they align their ideals from. So I think that's another crisis that we have in this country, is the communication problem. We can't all get on the same page with this. And then the issue of trust. Me, myself, far as vaccination wise. Now, this COVID vaccination this has been studied before. This has been treated for SARS and other things. It just is trying to develop it in a different way to treat COVID. But COVID-related diseases have been around, and zoonotic, I used this before, it's the transfer of diseases from animals to humans have been studied for years. I mean, you could think of if a dog bites you and you get rabies and stuff like this, and for scientists to try to get some type of resolve to these symptoms that we're having. I think what we have a problem with in America is how we get our information. How we get our information. It's social media has busted it wide open, and anybody can say anything and run with it. And I think that has caused all these questions, which questions are valid. I think that people should have questions, but then when we get the response or the answers to those questions, people then don't even respect it.
Yeah.
So I have not got the vaccination because I feel like at this point I have had COVID, and I believe the cure is in our food and the way we live. So when I say our food, our diet, I believe people that are overweight, that have less activity, that have all these other conditions that's going on, is why we have so much diseases it is today. Until we fix our food problem, until we fix our our exercise and ability to have less stress. Stress is killing more people than anything, right? Until we manage those things, I think we're just treating one symptom of the actual disease. I don't think we're really getting to the core of it. And I think it's all deals with diet and nutrition. I'm not saying that the vaccination is not helpful. There are
Can I
some
throw
people
something
that
in for
need it.
that? Can I throw in a tidbit on that one? Like, because I was a medic and everything, diet, I'm not disagreeing in any means that diet is incredibly important for having a strong immune system. The problem is that when you have a unique virus, which this one was a unique virus, we've been studying this kind of virus, which you're right, that's why they were able to do the science so fast, but a unique virus that comes into a system where no one's been exposed to it. No amount of perfect diet, like Olympic athletes will have zero immune system to a brand new virus. Your diet will not help. It can hurt you. It'll make you more fucked up if you get it. But there's no such thing as an immune system that will protect you from a brand new virus because your immune system has never encountered it. It has no ability to fight it. Like, you get it, you get fucked over, and that's how it spreads so fast. Your health.
Yes, I will counter that, Edward, because we deal with everybody. Between when you're infant and at any stage, you have been encountered hundreds of bacteria and viruses that we have, we were first introduced to, that we were able to develop antibodies to fight for. Why is COVID such a severe case? Because we're a generation that is some of the unhealthiest creatures on this planet. Like, I really do, because I mean, why didn't SARS go to this level? Why didn't all these other
SARS didn't go that far because it wasn't as
not just how fast it spread. If you look at athletes and top athletes, how many of them have you saw actually die from it? They catch it and they go, but they're healthy, so it doesn't affect them the same way. Hold on just a second, Dr. Bright, jump in. What are you thinking? And we got like 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're gonna jump to the other topic because we at the halfway point. And I told y'all we're gonna do a hard close at 9:30. Dr. Bright.
Listen, I think there are valid concerns that are being raised from both sides of the thing. Here's kind of where I start to wonder where the rubber meets the road for me, and it is beyond all of what can be the external factors. I made the decision for me to get the monkey juice or joy juice or
the monkey juice,
the goofy juice,
whatever the hell we're calling it.
Monkey juice works for me.
It's funny because my brother-in-law and I were having a very similar conversation a couple days ago, and he did not get it, and he was saying, I don't trust, the government, and I don't, this, that, and the other, and he was like, I said, it's funny. I said, because you're taking this kind of seriously now, But 19 months ago, when we first started talking about this, you were like, "This ain't nothing but the flu. This ain't, this ain't gonna, this ain't gonna be nothing but the flu." And I said, "Now you're talking about you're scared to leave your house, you're scared to go out, you're scared to be around people." And I said, and I get all of that. And then it's like something erupted in him. He was like, "But you just look at the numbers." I said, "Okay, well then let's talk about the numbers." So I talked about some numbers. He's like, "Well, you can't believe the numbers." Well, well, then wait a minute. I mean, either you go.
But he's accurate. He's accurate. He didn't lie there.
But he the one said look at the
It might sound
numbers.
foolish because he just said look at the numbers, but you can't trust the numbers. I know, and that's what I'm saying. It might sound foolish. It might sound foolish, but he wasn't lying.
To say I can't trust the numbers implies that literally every doctor is involved in a conspiracy. Every doctor.
No, and it's like ridiculous that y'all fucking blanket everything when a comment is made like that. Like, it doesn't take everybody to be involved. We already know that the tests are a failure, and the CDC has ordered it to stop being used by the end of this year. But they're still using it. We already know that if you had a car accident and you died because of the car accident injuries, but you also tested positive for COVID, you died from COVID. Like, we know the numbers are skewed, and we know data of every sort, from marriages to divorces. Like, data's always going to be skewed.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Edward.
Just said is blatantly inaccurate. Doctors cannot.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't think Dr. Bright actually finished his point. That's why you and Nikki start going. I'm like, I wanted to hear Dr. Bright actually finish what he was saying.
Sorry.
So what I was gonna say is what I said to him. I said, "Look, man, you got to do what's right for you,
right?
And I don't judge you for doing what's right for you, but you also can't be the person that judges me for doing what's right for me. We don't have to agree. We can just say, hey, we made different choices, and that's okay. Because here's the real deal, is that if you make a choice that's different from mine, and I think this is part of the problem, Q, is that outside of kind of this framing of this whole issue has become more than just public health conversation. It's become political conversation.
Yep.
It's actually turned into the new racism. If you really want to just kind of put a title on it,
it ain't quite that bad, Doc.
Hard shit I've ever heard.
It's racism shit.
And so you got people.
In ways, it's worse, Stokely. I'll talk about that in a second, but go ahead.
You can't really be with us if you believe that you should, and you can't really be with us if you believe that you should. It's like this. I mean, it's bizarre. And so I think that everybody is so hypersensitive about their side that no matter what's talked about, in the end, it's a hard fast on every side to say this is what it is, and nothing ever gets resolved. That's what I gotta say.
Stokely, I was gonna say I agree with you. It's not as bad as racism, but in the aspect, racism is usually at this point in time, racism is so covertly done. And this is overtly, the people are just in your face.
No. Racism used to be covert. Racism is not covert no more.
I disagree with that. I think it's still very covert.
Oh, no.
I think it's more covert than it is overt.
I see it daily. I work with it daily. And I can see both sides of it, because there are people that walk up to you and you would never in a million years think that some of the shit that comes out of their mouths comes out of their mouths. And then you just, and I can't just punch them in the face, although I feel like I want to sometimes. But, as far as it being politicized, like Dr. Bright said, it has become very, very politicized. And you have people that I'm not going to do it because the government's trying to make me do it. That's the problem. So I've had this conversation with my family, with loved ones, good friends, and I'm going to fast forward here in a second. If you don't get it and you contract, and I clearly said, if you get it and I'm the only one there that can give you mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, you're not going to make it. You're just not. And that is the God's honest truth from me. Not saying I don't love you, but I don't know. I'm just not going to be able to do it. So go ahead.
But
Doc.
you know what? But you know what? Because here's another thing that I happen to say is I said, listen, just like you have the right to, because there was a restaurant who says, if you're vaccinated, you're not welcome to come to our restaurant, right? We don't want you in here.
Oh, if you are vaccinated, you're not welcome to
you
come.
are not.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it's
I was about to
strongly against
say they put the
vaccination.
R.
They don't want you coming. I had a pastor say, if you're vaccinated, you do not have faith in God, and I don't want. This is not the church for
That's
you,
crazy.
right? So it's these kind of battlegrounds that are being established based on science. And let me finish when I say this. It's just like I was having another conversation, and I said, you know what? You have the right to do what you want to, just like I do, but we all have to understand that whatever our choices are, there are consequences to those choices, and you got to be willing to deal with the consequence of whatever choice you make. Stokely said, I ain't giving you mouth to mouth.
That's a consequence.
That's a consequence.
Yeah, if you
You can't come to my house. That's a consequence.
There's doctors who saying that they're not going to treat pet. Now, I think that kind of goes against your oath, don't it?
Yeah, it does.
What?
And then they see that Florida
Doctors saying that I'm not going to treat a person who comes into the hospital and they didn't get
Yeah.
they're
These
unvaccinated.
are those doctors. These are those doctors who are part of the problem, not a part of the solution. They're them.
Did you see the whole protest for the
Yes,
South?
I was going to mention that, Edward. There was a protest in Florida where the doctors walked out because one, they're overworked, they're not supported, and people are dying and they're tired and sick of it. And I get it. But see, my thing is, I just want people to understand there's people that's going to be on the extremes of both sides, but the ones that are in the middle, that hasn't got vaccinated or whatever, why are we not addressing their concerns? If they have problems with the government because of past experiences or things that they have read and not read, or they haven't been told, why hasn't the government did a better job of correcting those issues?
They stupid.
Because that would require accountability, and that would require them telling the truth. And when are we ever going to give up a fucking lie if we can take that shit to the grave with us? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's true.
They're not. I mean, how many things do they lie to us every single day that we have uncovered as adults who have received access to information about just things that we were like, damn, that's not what I was taught in school, or that's not what I learned. And I mean, they're not. That would require accountability, and never has our government, never have these handlers, never have these puppeteers ever been about accountability. It is about power and control and money, and the easiest way to obtain that is to scare people.
And the other thing, there's certain things that they have medical caps of lawsuits where you can't sue your healthcare providers for lack of.
Long before this.
Yeah,
you can't sue a vaccine maker for any injury. You're stuck. SOL.
This is the things that I'm saying. People are concerned. Like, okay, if something happens down the road, am I going to be rectified or, get some kind of compensation for it? And a lot of these laws that we're not reading into, that's going on behind the scene while we're all going batshit crazy on who's getting
right, what they really doing behind the closed doors.
Behind the closed doors, they're writing laws and saying, hey, the employers are not responsible if you get sick and die because they tell you to come back. And these medical people are not responsible if you take the vaccination and later down the road something happens. That scares people. We need to address certain concerns. I'm not saying that we should be on the extremes, like I'm not going to let you in my restaurant if you're vaccinated, or you're not coming to my church if you're unvaccinated. I think there's some extremes there. You could do whatever you want because it's your church or whatever, your business. But I'm saying it's those gray areas that a lot of people, I think we could get over that hump. If you want people to get vaccinated, address those things.
That's what Edward talked about, though. This is still a process of learning. So there's not definitive answers out there for everything. And sometimes when answers change, instead of I think Edward said that was the most I ever agreed with Edward, which kind of confused me. But
a person's track record, your track record speaks for itself, and if your track record has pretty much been shitty and deceptive,
but can you ever redeem yourself, Nikki?
Not when those same people are still in the control group. Not when those same systems are operating the controlled group.
By that,
no,
that doesn't.
Right?
Huh?
Right?
Yes,
Could they redeem themselves from slavery, and how would they do that? Like, there's things that we need to redeem. How do you redeem something so long?
Well, I get away from that part. Forget about I don't want to say forget about it, but sometimes you want to exercise the lesser of two evils. We would have lost to Germany. Well, okay, we would have lost to Germany in World War II had we not said, look, yeah, we don't really like Russia, but we got a bigger problem right now.
Exactly.
As soon as we defeated Russia and Japan, we immediately split, but we took care of the first issue that was in front of our face. So I'm like, it doesn't always have to be, I totally trust you. I just think for me, especially, there's a bigger issue in front of my face than what may or may not be happening with the government's ulterior motives. Right. For me, because I see people that I know. That's why I went back to my first question. How many people do you know that have died from this? And I haven't had that track record before. So it's like that in front of my eyes is realer than any other speculation that I could have about what they may or may not be doing right now.
Can I say this?
Sure.
Too? I've had a friend that just literally passed away from COVID this past Saturday. A co-worker at State Farm. Literally just passed away. He went into the hospital August 14th. He died on August 21st. I don't know what's going on in these hospitals, but I got questions too.
That'd be the last place I want to go, unfortunately, is the fucking hospital.
And I'm just gonna say why. My grandfather died. Someone told them, don't, when they get on ventilators, they never get off.
Yep. That's what I heard too.
Well, there's reasons for that. So, I mean, I used to work in a hospital, and I can tell you, and I'm not defending. I'd like to start off by saying that I'm not defending it. I don't want to go to the hospital for any reason if I can avoid it. But there's reasons why you don't want to go, and it's not because of conspiracy. It really is. It's about money, right? Hospitals have to do certain things, and they got to put money in certain places. You can't put somebody on a ventilator until they're so far gone that they're already fucked. To be completely honest, if you're sick enough that the hospital put you on the ventilator, it's because you are well past needing it. So your chances of survival are extremely low. That's why the hospitals are being so dramatic about, dude, you got to make sure you don't need to come in here. We're overrun,
Let me say something.
Completely crowded.
Right. Let me say something. And every hospital has a person that says, you know what? We can no longer take care of this person. This person is going to die. There's no reason to keep putting money into this person. He's going to die. Every hospital in the United States has that person at a hospital. So what Ed is saying is actually true. When you get on a ventilator, because your body's not made to function that way, with a tube down your throat and being assisted. Right. So yes. And again, I go back to what I said earlier, to avoid being put in that position, and everybody has their own choice and everybody can do what they want to do, but to avoid being put in that position, have some type of protection. And if you get it and you have some protection, you can hopefully survive it. Not saying everybody does. There's not a vaccine that's ever been made that is 100% for anything. So, you got all these people, and I'm going to go back to what I said earlier real quick. The part that pisses me off is that it has become so political, and that people are not willing to get it because someone is trying to say, get the vaccine. It doesn't make any sense.
For different reasons, though.
I mean, but that's good enough for me if I don't want to put that vaccine in my body. That's plenty reason.
That's why I say everybody has a choice, and I'm not saying that you don't. What I'm simply saying is, again, it goes back to if you have younger kids, Your kids can't be vaccinated, but say you go to work and you contract, and then you come home and bring it to your younger child.
People did it all last year. They did it all year last year, but it's been going on for a year and a half.
Hang on. They didn't do it all last year because there were so many kids out of school. We just saw in Georgia last week, 30,000 students could not go back to school after 2 days because of the transmission of the Delta virus. So,
which likely came from adults who did not mind, you know, the disciplined things that we can do as adults to lower our own numbers that don't have to mean we get shamed for not getting a jab that has absolutely no merits right now. But that's just it. It's become vaxxed versus unvaxxed, and the vaxxed consistently make it be the unvaxxed that are the ones causing all of the problem, and it's like y'all need to check out.
What I hear, both sides are equally trying to shame the others.
Right, I've been shamed for getting it.
Right, I hear shame going both sides.
I mean, and that's, you know, that's probably that person. But generally, you go turn on the news, you're getting shamed if you don't have a vaccine. They're making it mandatory. They're making it mandatory.
I deal with, you get shamed if you do get it.
90% of the hospital cases plus are unvaccinated people. Mm-hmm. That's not blaming anyone. That's just stating a fact.
Yeah,
that's if the numbers are accurate, which we don't know shit about that.
Right.
They don't count everything accurately. Like, people are so hell-bent on these numbers as though, like, they are just the end-all, be-all. Like,
again,
when the reality is, we see what's happening.
What I'll say again, Nikki, is that some of the people in the group of people that I know, either the ones who died, it was pre-vaccination or pre-juice before it was something available, or the ones more recently is those who refused to get it.
Yeah,
those are the people that I've seen. My parents have just buried some cousins. Well, you know, I don't even want to talk about it, but it's, you know, I see it happen often, and it's people who didn't. They didn't get it.
Virus. Let's the virus. Is
sure.
Real. I think we can all agree that the virus is real. It's deadly.
We can. That's the problem, Tiara. It seems like as a whole, we can agree that the virus is deadly because people are not taking it serious enough.
Yeah, as a country, we don't.
No, I think people are taking it seriously. A lot of people are taking it seriously.
Let me say this.
People say that about me. People say, "Oh, you're not taking it seriously," and how dare you? How fucking dare you? You're right, but people still get out of the left of their side of their mouth, and they don't know shit, and they just make these statements about people. And that's what I'm saying. People need to bump all that shit on down because you're causing division with people who actually are really doing a serious job at trying to flatten the curve the natural way.
Nikki,
and that's not the message that's being portrayed.
I think that you're in the minority, Nikki.
Thank you.
Even when I asked you
maybe because you don't know enough of those people, I'm not. I'm very much not the minority.
Yeah, I believe that you are. Hold on a second. Now, remember when I asked you about your history. Historically, did you get juices put in you or your children? And you said, no, that's not what I do based on the research and the things. And I'm like, okay, good. You are educated in why you decide not to do that. If you think everybody else is educated,
half of
the country now followed that fool who was in office last year, and because he said it wasn't necessary, then they went along, and they're still going along with them, and they still don't know why they got a shot
though. He went and got the shot because he got COVID. I had a conversation last week with
people ain't educated on why they doing or not doing something.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine the other day about the same type of situation. Her husband is a scientist. And he's like, no, I'm not getting the vaccination and all this. And all of her friends in their little clique are going along with it. And I said to them, so you listen to your friends, not the science, not the data, not anything else, but your friends. I said, so, you know, if your car breaks down, do you go to your friends to get it fixed? Or do you
if they're a mechanic and they know how to fix it, absolutely.
Stop it. No, don't try to change. Don't change your answer, Nikki. No, you don't.
Or why would I go to the mechanic? Why would I go to the mechanic? Who's going to charge me triple when I can call homeboy?
Friend or mechanic.
You take it to a mechanic. You don't.
My friend is a mechanic
because they overcharge you, or stuff like that too.
Look,
thank you.
Now this look. See,
the point of his question.
Thank you. I'm simply saying that you want to be healthy. You want to take care of yourself, and again, I don't want anybody to think that I am a vax pusher. Is that a good word? But I am for people doing what needs to be done. And Nikki, again, me and you had the conversation briefly the other day. If you're wearing a mask, if you know you're not vaccinated, you're wearing a mask and you're staying out of people's faces and doing what you need to do, washing your hands and taking care of your business, and everybody around you is doing the same thing, then by all means, just stay safe in doing that.
Well, of course. Why would I go throw myself into the middle of a concert? I'm not. Why would I go throw myself into the middle of the club? I'm not.
I know some more nasty folk.
And because population control is what it is, it will be survival of the fittest. People gonna die. People gonna die.
And then, by the way, Ivory just sent me a text, said our stream keeps slowing up, probably because we're talking about this. But
oh no,
they will do that, absolutely.
That's why I was trying to use code words.
Tierra, jump in, and then Edward, go ahead, Tierra.
Everybody that has taken the vaccination, are you getting the booster shot?
I'm personally not getting the booster shot because I'm also not going out anywhere. I work from home. I stay in home. If I were going into the office, then I would consider getting the booster shot. I got vaccinated because I live with someone who's immune compromised. So I'm not putting them at risk. But I also don't go out any more than I have to. So the booster is really more for people who are forced into going out and putting that 5% at risk, right? Because the vaccine's 95% effective. So if you know you've got to go out, then that 5%, you're taking the booster to really try and help cover that.
Okay. So you would continually take it every year?
Well, when it's time for me to, I will.
I get the flu shot every year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never gotten a flu shot.
Hell no.
Well, isn't the flu shot? They're actually injecting you with the flu. They actually
inject you with
the flu. So see, there's a difference. There's a difference in that as well.
Right.
So
that is true.
There's a lot of differences there. But the other part of this is the fact that, like, Nikki, I agree with you for the kind of person you are. You're wearing a mask. You're not going out. You're doing that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But to think that you are the majority is absolutely outlandish, because 70 million people plus voted for Trump and openly say they think it's a hoax. They've done the surveys. They've asked people. You can find countless interviews. They're giant rallies where they gather up with signs.
Herman Cain was out there.
As Herman's crazy ass. Oh, you can't.
And then he got it, didn't he?
He died from it.
Right.
Almost Stokely.
Oh, he got the shot. No, he probably died right after he got the shot. That's what it was.
No,
they had to get rid of him.
It wasn't available. But they was out there in rallies, no mask, no nothing.
He went to Tulsa, Black Wall Street, got COVID and died.
That's what he did. That's fine. Take it. I'm telling you, survival of the fittest. Weed this motherfucker right now. Some of them people gonna die.
Hold on a second. Edward, finish your point, and then Dr. Bright jump in.
So to finish that thought, you are not the majority by any stretch of the imagination. The 70 million plus who are going out there not wearing masks on purpose, making it political, violently attacking people who do wear masks, openly, like you can YouTube it, there's millions of people just going off and getting in fights over how dare you wear a mask, you're living in fear.
Not about millions of people, but yeah, they're definitely having fights. I mean, but these are generally irrational, weird ass fucking people too. This is just their you know, their rights are being infringed, and I get it. They're just being a little irrational with all the other bits and pieces. But masks on for 8 hours a day is actually not good for us to sit through every single day.
Doctors have been doing it for decades, so don't even try that.
But they don't wear them for 8 hours a day. They take them off. They get fresh air. You know, I mean, there's other variables. Hell, I know for myself personally, when I go to the office and I'm wearing my mask 3, 4, 5 hours at a time, by the time I get home, I'm like, shit, my asthma's kicking my ass right now. I get some fresh air, drink some water, you know, get some shit to clear the mucus out of my chest, you know. I mean, so I'm wearing my damn mask, but we're wearing a mask. There's no doubt about that. We're wearing a mask.
I was just going to say that I agree 100% with Edward in that a lot of the folks who are anti-getting the vaccine are the main ones who are not being self-protecting and protecting of others.
They're not.
And so the reality is that getting attacked for getting a vaccine, and I've seen I saw it on something where a woman walked in and yanked a mask off another person.
She would.
I wish a motherfucker would.
These fucking Karens, these dumb Karen bitches, they're everywhere. This is just their new thing to be mad about. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I have never struck a woman in my life. Never.
Look, I'm telling y'all right now, I'm waiting for my opportunity. I'm waiting for my opportunity. I'm waiting. Waiting.
I promise they're gonna come up with a new one. Shaking Karen.
I mean, baby shaking syndrome happening. I'm about to go ham steak on that ass. You hear me?
Tag me so I can get in on it. You know what I mean?
Man.
But I don't know, and I hear what you guys are saying, and I wish that you all knew more people who behaved as me, because there's a lot of us out here like that, and yes, of course there are the reckless people. There's reckless people on both sides, but there was reckless people way before this happened.
Nikki,
so those what?
The average person don't read, don't do research, don't like the stuff that you're talking about. That ain't even average.
Maybe the people that you know don't.
Nikki,
you may want to talk about the circles that we are in, right? So if the circles in which you are in have a certain type of whatever, that's what you're going to be exposed to.
Do you think your circle represents that large of a portion of society?
All I know is the fucking people I fuck with shit like me. So I'm not saying that we are like the standard of all humans. I know that obviously there's people who are not doing the things that they should do. But there are far more people like me who are very diligent, who are taking this very serious, who are trying to be proactive in other ways, who will not take that bullshit ass shot, no matter how much those people try to shame us or make us feel bad or blame us into doing. I'll lose my job. I'll get fired. I don't give a fuck. But, it's just, it's not okay.
Nikki,
it's not.
Honestly think
it's not okay.
Nikki, you honestly think there's more people who are staying at home, wearing a mask, and not causing a problem than there are the 70 million Trump supporters who are out at rallies saying the thing's a hoax? You honestly believe that?
Or the people that's down at the Domain. Hey, I was down at the Domain Sunday.
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
On Rainy Street.
I don't know, but those people are generally vaccinated and they think that it's totally fine to be socializing and being in each other's face.
Was that the Rolling Loud concert or what?
Yeah.
Or on South Beach. I mean, you can just
all the things. Every place is packed with people not wearing a mask because they're vaccinated and they think that they're totally safe now. And it's like
a lot of those people are not vaccinated.
But a lot of them are, because now you've got to be vaccinated to go out socially. You got to show your card or you got to have a negative test.
I've never had your card once.
Showing your card means nothing. You can still have it. Hell, I'd rather you take everybody's temperature at the doors walking in. That's a little more indicative of something happening.
They don't do that anymore.
Hell no, because people are going to lose their shit because this is America. And God, you can't do that. It's
this is so crazy.
Like Tiara said, we are the most obese country because we're the most laziest fucking country, the most undisciplined people.
I'm going to say this, Nikki. Living in Dallas, I promise you are like a unicorn. If you take care of yourself and shit, wear a mask and don't be coughing and see these motherfuckers up in Dallas. Let me tell you, they don't give a damn. And it's just like when COVID came out and you'd hear somebody coughing, everybody like look at them crazy.
Right.
Now it's just they just become ridiculous with it, and I'm still cautious. I wear a mask again. I'm vaccinated. I wear a mask because I don't want anybody else to get sick, but let alone I don't want to get sick myself. So you can be somewhere and people walking past you without a mask on, they doing all that old foolishness, and like I said, you are a unicorn when you wear a mask, you wash your hands, you are clean about the situation. It's just, I don't know. I'm done with these people. And that's why I said what I said earlier. If someone is not protected and they contract it and they go in the hospital, get put on a ventilator and all that other stuff, I'm sorry, but
they could have the vaccine and still have COVID, but you'd be okay giving them mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. What in the fuck kind of logic is that?
That's not what I said at all.
You said if you're not vaccinated, you would not give somebody mouth-to-mouth.
That's exactly what I said.
So if you are vaccinated, you would give the person mouth-to-mouth.
You didn't say that, though.
I didn't say that.
Say I ain't giving no mouth-to-mouth during this season of coronavirus.
That's what you should have said.
That ain't what you said.
No.
That's what you should have said. Ain't nobody getting
If it's my
Ain't nobody
mother,
getting no mouth to mouth.
if it's my mother or somewhat my wife or whatever.
But you made a point to say on your social media, especially if you not vaxxed. So you.
That was the God's honest truth.
No,
right. So I'm just pointing out what that looks like.
Might think about it. He could simply be saying he might think about it if you are, but it ain't no way in hell it's gonna happen.
Thank you, Dr. Bright. Thank you
for
clarifying.
I understood it as such. I understood it as such, you know.
It just ain't gonna happen. I mean,
for the moral of the story, we've been in COVID for a long time.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna change. We're looking probably at the second lockdown coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. It's gonna come.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know.
We're in stage 5 as is.
In my mind, we should have had a lockdown a long time ago. I don't know why we haven't had another lockdown.
Because we're in a state that where the governor has said under no circumstances will there be another lockdown.
Yes,
and in Texas, it's black people's fault in Texas.
Exactly.
We
transmitting that. We transmitting it.
Of course, it's black people.
I can't believe he said that. He doubled down on it too.
What you mean he can't believe he said that?
I know, I can't too.
Dan
I'm just like, God.
Dan Patrick said it. The Attorney General Dan Patrick.
Governor.
Lieutenant Governor.
Okay,
Lieutenant Governor. I'm sorry.
Lieutenant Governor.
I thought that was Abbott.
No, he's a racist dickhead too.
Hot Wheels believe the same thing.
Yeah, he believed it.
So he said literally that black people are the
black unvaccinated people. Black unvaccinated people.
They are transmitting it. I was like,
oh, man or a black man.
You know, that's a white man. Come on.
Well, no.
Governor Dan Patrick.
Governor Dan Oreos out there who you know.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We do got Alan West would say some crazy shit like that.
Exactly. Okay.
His crazy.
COVID, you guys. Okay. Let's get ready. We can be in COVID for probably another 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, we, like my daddy always said, hunker down, goddammit. We in this for the long haul. Shit. You know, take the precautions that you can as best as you can, but creating an additional division out of fear and honestly a lot of lack of information is not helping our current state of humanity at all.
That's the American way, though. That is the American way.
So we're gonna continue it. I mean, what did they say? If you repeat the same behavior, expecting different results. That's the definition of crazy.
I'm 50 plus and been living in fear for 50 years plus. You know, just because it's America, and I realize where I'm at.
Until we hold media accountable, we will never get over the disinformation. So Facebook,
the mistrust,
the Facebook can be allowed to allow this stuff to go on. Twitter, Instagram, what are all these social media platforms and all these socials, you know, these news stations that can basically say what they want and people take it as a valid, really true statement. We're never going to be able to get past anything. I think this is at the turning point of America. Like, you know how Rome was going to fall? It was things like this.
Oh,
you started to see unravel.
Just stupid.
We are past our expiration date.
Yeah, I agree.
They trying to speed it up though. That's what they trying to speed it up right now. Shit, they got that bitch on warp speed.
Everybody out. Shit.
There's other countries that are doing just fine with the exact disease because they don't have the same political divide that we have.
That's it.
People refusing to believe, and this is where that previous point came in, is it doesn't matter how many people act like you, Nikki. If the whole rest of the country was just like everyone in this conversation, and you still had 70 million Trump supporters out there thinking it's fake, we'll never get past it. Because 70 million people is enough people to keep
it going
forever. Yep. We will have nothing but variant after variant after variant, even if they're the only ones. If everyone else was anti-vax but still did the right thing, that 70 million is more than enough to keep us screwed forever. The reason other countries are doing better than us is because they don't have that divide of fact versus
Trump base. They don't have a Trump base.
They have it.
No, you can't totally blame it on Trump.
Yes,
it's the Republican Democrat that was there before.
I know.
Number one.
Yeah, Trump just made it like Trump fine-tuned something that was already being built. He sanded it down and brought it to a fine shine. But it was always there.
I have a friend of mine whose son runs track at Southern Arkansas or Eastern Arkansas State, runs track, 20 years old. Him and his girlfriend decided they weren't going to get the vaccination. He caught it, went in the hospital, I want to say on a Wednesday or a Thursday, made it to the next Thursday without being on a ventilator. Got on a ventilator that Thursday, died Saturday. 20 years old.
Yeah.
World-class track athlete.
Yeah, your immune system doesn't have anything to do with it because it's a brand
Your
new
immune
virus.
system has everything to do with it. Yes, it does. The immune system is designed to fight when it's attacked.
Nikki,
That doesn't mean it may not. That doesn't mean it may win. I mean, there's a lot of illnesses that are going to trump the immune system, but the immune system is designed to fight invaders.
Well, hold on, because I am interested. I think this may be the first time I disagree with you today, Edward. How are you saying that the immune system has nothing to do with? Okay. Go ahead.
Look up and feel free. The World Health Organization, the absolute experts, and I've worked in hospitals. I've heard this from doctors numerous times. Okay, Nikki, stop shaking your head because you don't believe anybody.
Just talk, Edward. She can shake her head. I know. Is that distracting you?
This is a medical thing that has been around before COVID for a long time. Your immune system can be strong as hell. But if it's a new germ that your body has never run into, a unique virus, then your body doesn't know how to fight it. And when it moves that quickly, which is why COVID is such a big deal, because unlike so many other things, the amount of time it takes to go from perfectly fine to on a ventilator and dead is 2 weeks. If your body's never run into this virus, the amount of time it takes for it to even figure out how to start fighting, it's too late. You can have an incredibly strong immune system, but if it's a unique virus, the amount of time it takes your body to even start figuring out how to fight it, you're already too late. That's the reason why COVID is such a big deal. Other diseases have come that were just as contagious, but didn't have as quick of a gestation with such a violent result. When they tell you that you're taking your vitamins and all this kind of stuff won't help, there's a reason why they're saying it. That's why they don't push that, because it won't fucking help. It will help you from
yes, it does help.
It will help you from being as bad, but
that's a help.
It's a unique virus. Stokely just told you about someone he personally knows.
True.
He knows they take their health seriously. He knows they were in fantastic shape. They're an athlete. They died that fast from it because your body doesn't know how to fight it yet.
There's gonna be people die. People are going to die. People die from flu. More people die from flu. People are gonna die when they get ill. Your fucking immune system is designed to keep you in as best of tip-top shape as you can possibly be. And then when you have contributing factors to your health that weaken your immune system, you become more susceptible. No doubt about it.
Staying at home. You've got such a great immune system. You take all the
because I don't need to go out. I'm not fucking scared. And I have a kid that doesn't have a good immune system, if you fucking remember. So I can't risk bringing it into my house on a happy hour. Fuck that. I can't risk bringing it into my house because, oh my God, my kids got to go to school. They're fucking driving me crazy. No, they're going to be right here with me. I can't risk bringing it into my house because my friends are going to go to a show. Y'all go do that. That's fine. I'm not afraid of that shit. I'm afraid of that goddamn vaccine because I don't trust it.
Well,
you don't understand how the immune system works. That's fine. But
I'm well aware of how the immune system works. My son doesn't have a very good one. Very well aware of how the immune system works.
Then you should.
I know what you've read. I've read the same things that you have read. The immune system is designed to do its job, and the shot is designed to suppress the immune system. Hence, more people coming up positive, more people dying, more people having issues they've never had in their life. Bleeding, clotting, heart issues. Never had them a day in their life. Kids dropping dead 2 days after the shot. I'm good. I'll eat my vitamins. I'll stay home. I'll wear my mask.
How do you know which information to believe and which ones not to?
Yeah, you fight as much against the numbers regardless of where they come from because they don't agree with you.
No, because we know factually that data is not accurate. We know data goes both directions. There's no lie. Statisticians have jobs in statistics because the numbers go both ways. Ask a gambler how much you can fluff numbers both directions. I'm not fighting the numbers because it don't work for me. You need to excuse yourself with that statement. I'm fighting the numbers because we know they're not accurate. Period.
You believe the numbers where somebody died 2 days after taking it. You believe that, no problem, because it agrees with you.
Let me ask Nikki
this.
Because I want to.
I didn't hear what you said.
On both sides. I want to play devil advocate on both sides. Nikki, in what capacity would you feel safe to take the vaccine? Like, what would it take?
I would not.
And no circumstance.
And that's why I asked.
No.
So Nikki, that's why I asked. It's not even about this particular one. It's about in general. So her stance has preceded this pandemic.
So let's take government corruption out of it. Let's take profit out of pharmaceuticals out of it. Let's just take those, because a lot of times that's a lot of what people draw back from taking anything from the government.
We got 6 minutes.
What if that wasn't I'm not sure your factors of why you don't trust. Like I said, I still haven't taken the vaccination myself, but what is it the issues that stem that you don't? What would make it okay for you to take it? Like, what would it take?
There wouldn't be anything that I think I could take at this point. I've seen too much over the last 10, 15 years of researching vaccine and vaccine injuries, and just all of the levels that come along with it to not believe that those things are things that I want to put in my body. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say what they do and don't do. I'm just going to say that they're just things I would not want to put into my body. So none of those things. I would much rather trust the things that are tangible, the things that I can see, things I can control, the things that work. The 97% recovery rate on this virus. There's just so many. There's so many other things that I can do that would not be one of the options for me ever.
Okay, let me devil advocate, Edward. Is there anything reason why you wouldn't take the vaccination? If there's any stage that you wouldn't have, something
absolutely. They did. So, if you're unwilling to ever change your mind, then you're not actually thinking. I'm sorry. If no source of information, if no new version would ever get you to change your mind, I'm sorry, I can't trust that opinion. If the World Health Organization told me we figured it out, this vaccine doesn't work, I wouldn't take it, right? I trust them because they are funded by every government in the world.
Hello?
Hang on. When they lost funding from America, they didn't change their mind. They got funding from other countries and they kept right with what they were originally saying. The only things they have changed has been based on new evidence, not off of, I understand where you get, the CDC said one thing one day and then changed their mind because Trump was going to fire them all. But World Health Organization, if you don't have a source of some sort full of experts where you would take their information and change your mind, then you're saying your opinion is more important than all the experts anywhere ever giving you new information. You just said nothing.
My opinion's not more important. My body is. My opinion's not. Fuck my opinion. So I'm more important. My body's more important. My children are more important. So don't care.
You're not skeptical at anything. You're not skeptical on anything, long as the scientists say it's true. I'm just because I'm playing devil advocate on both sides.
So for mine, there are, because like Nikki was saying, yes, I fully agree. There are groups that if they say this thing, I know they're paid to agree with that because it's in their best interest to say that. Mm-hmm. So I choose my sources based off of where does their money come from and do they profit from lying about the information. Okay. If I don't see any reason for them to profit from lying about it and they actually are going to keep their jobs and everything by being accurate, I'm going to trust that source, right? So I have no reason to think that the World Health Organization is wrong.
God.
Oh, Nikki?
Oof. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Believe what you believe. That's fine. Nikki, that's fine. And there's a lot of people that are like that. And I acknowledge this is the world we live in. That's okay. That's okay. But that's just not for me.
But I'd like to know, Nikki, how do you decide which information you agree with?
Usually if they come from 3 letters, they're fucking lying. If they come from 3 letters, they're generally lying to you. They have an agenda. They're making money. It's a political move. It's a power handler's move. If your FDA, your CDC, your WHO, your aid, all of them.
Nikki, that's not the question. The question was who.
He just asked the question, and I said I don't trust any of them.
You answered who you don't trust.
All of them.
Who do you trust is the question. Where are you getting your info from that you do trust?
That's good. That's a good way to rephrase it.
And there's a variety of sources that are not mainstream. There's a variety of news channels and news outlets that are completely under the table.
Nikki,
What are your
stop saying what you
trusted
don't
sources?
the few sources you do trust. What about them makes you trust them other than they're not mainstream?
Because you've got doctors and you've got lawyers and you've got scientists and you've got virologists and you've got people who have been in the medical field for 20, 30, 40 years with PhDs who are sticking their neck out willing to lose their jobs saying, hey, y'all, we need to ask some questions. Hey, y'all, this is not good. Hey, y'all, what I'm seeing from my patients is this. Hey, y'all. So when you have medical professions, the people that y'all love so fucking dearly, when you have medical professionals who are willing to lose their career, their life, get death threats to come out and speak on things that because they got the paper, they went to school. When they start talking about this, that's who I follow. That's the direction I'm going to start going, is the people who are like me, who will risk it all to fucking stand on what's right, who will risk it all to try to tell the truth.
Hold on. Dr. Bright, hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. Dr. Bright, it is officially 9:30, but I do not have control over this. This ain't my Zoom. This is Nikki's controlling the StreamYard. So the meeting is officially over.
Okay.
Anybody who decides to stay on,
have a parking lot conversation.
That's out of my control, but the meeting is officially over. I just wanted to, Tierra, I'm sticking to my words here. It's 9:30. You gotta jump. It's
I actually
done.
have to go too, but I would just want to ask that one question. So if one of your trusted sources changes their opinion, would that change your opinion?
Good question.
That's a good question.
I can honestly say that I've not
on this question, Edward. Let it breathe.
Huh?
I'm talking to Edward.
Oh, you asking me?
What Dr. Bright asked you? Go ahead.
I'm asking you, Nikki. If one of your trusted sources changed their opinion, would that change your opinion?
I would question why they changed their opinion. However, I will say that I really do not believe, in all the years that I've been off on my little tinfoil hat, journey, that I've come across somebody that I have followed who's put their neck out there like that, that's changed their mind. A lot of them are fucking killed. A lot of these doctors come up dead. A lot of these doctors, a lot of these ladies come up missing. So I really haven't found a flat earther or anti-vaxxer or any other crazy shit I believe in where people change their mind. But I would probably question why they changed their mind. I'd be curious to know why, but it probably wouldn't make me change my mind, no.
Has it occurred to you that they don't change their mind because they're not interested in the fact? They're interested in holding on to a belief regardless of the facts.
Super echoey. I did not hear you.
I think we have it. Monique, you've got everyone.
Somebody got background up.
Someone's got
if you got like a
on.
TV behind you, then mute
I heard the TV.
It might be me.
Okay. It just started too. It was fine the whole time.
That was Stokely.
The statement
Always
was,
fucking shit up.
The statement was, have you considered the idea? Because critical thinking is important, so you got to look at all angles, right? If the people you follow have
That's
never
so condescending.
It's not condescending. It's just
yes, it is. As if I don't know critical thinking is like critical here. Like, duh, we want to talk show.
I'm not saying
this is a general statement.
Because he does this in a lot of the posts and the things that he likes to tries to disagree with me on my page with.
I didn't take that as a personal jab.
Because he ain't talking to you. He ain't talking to you. He's not trying to get into your world.
Today.
I'm not saying it because I don't think you don't know. I'm saying it because it's a reminder for the second half of the sentence to make sense. So for critical thinking, one of the parts of it we should all be able to agree on it is that you have to take into account all the factors, right? And the only reason I'm saying that is if the groups that you're following never change their mind, and they are a minority group, like the vast majority of scientists say that they are wrong, your group says that is not true, and they never ever change their mind. No new information ever changes their mind. No new data ever changes their mind. Have you considered the option that they're not really looking at any kind of data? They're just believing something because they want to believe it. Have you considered that, and do you take that into account?
I mean, I can literally ask you the same exact question.
You can.
Literally, yes, I can literally ask you the same exact question. Have you ever considered that, whatever you said? Like,
the difference is my guys change their mind every time they get new data. Your guys have never changed their mind, So if they've never changed their
That's
mind,
like you're not going to unbelieve what you believe. You believe what you believe wholeheartedly.
not true.
Why would I unbelieve what I believe? Because I believe what I believe wholeheartedly, and the things that I believe are factual. Like the things I believe aren't opinion based. This is all data. This is all things that can be researched and found to be true.
Nikki,
Especially when it comes to the jabs.
The data changes. I don't stay believing in something when the data says otherwise. I change my mind whenever the sources I trust, who are better experts than me, they spend their lives studying it. If they tell me something's different and they had it wrong, I believe them because they are studying it all day long and I found the sources that I trust. The question was, if your source changed their mind, just because they never have, your first response was, I got to question why they changed their mind.
Absolutely.
Did you not trust them before? They were risking it all.
I have to wonder why they went back the other direction.
But now they're less trustworthy.
Who paid you? What happened? Absolutely. That's absolutely. You don't go on this conspiracy truth or limb and for nothing. You go on.
I do think that some people evolve over time. I mean, there was people that believed the world was flat. I know this was one of the questions that were
I ain't even touched that one. I'm like,
there were some people that believed the world was flat, and when some people were saying, it's round or a sphere, whatever you want to call it, they were crucifying these people. They were locking them up. And as time gone, from people that believed it was flat, the people started believing, they are right. It's round. And now the consensus is that it's round. I do believe science evolves. It's nothing I believe that is always hard.
Truths are revealed. We were all taught it was a ball. As truths have been revealed, as things have been revealed, as access to information has been revealed and not concealed and not indoctrinated and not lied to about, like people's ideas do change. Like people don't. I'm telling you, like since I'm the majority of your, conspiracy theorists that it seems like y'all know, I'll just go ahead and stick my neck out here and speak one for the team. We don't make these fucking decisions like overnight. We don't come to these conclusions where we literally strip everything we've ever known and everything we've ever believed in and everything that we've ever taught and thought was right and righteous. We don't just wake up one day and be like, fuck this, buck the system. Like
you have to be open-minded to anything, though, Nick. Now, see, I can say this for a fact because I learned this coming from a religious background, and there was things that I just absolutely 100% I believe it because the word said it, and that was just it, and it was you couldn't tell me no different.
And that's why a lot of people believe in the systems in which they believe in, because most people in this country have been compliant by nature, complied by nature, have believed in the fairy tale by nature. And I'm so not trying to be disrespectful to religious people, but that's part of the problem too.
But no, I'm telling you, but for certain people, it wasn't the first seed is being open to other possibilities other than what if there is more than what has been presented to you. What if there's something else? How are you going to handle that information if you find out that what you learned, that everything that you was taught wasn't exactly on point, or if there was actually more?
That's my whole that's exactly who I am. I've gone through so many iterations of what I was when I first started preaching at 18 years old. I'm 51 years old now, and half the shit I believed when I was 18, I no longer believe.
I'm the same way. Or no religion. Everything, the things I believed in when I was 14, I was 8, I was 22, I have evolved and learned through experience and by acquiring more knowledge. And so I think it's healthy to evolve and keep an open mind to things, And
I've evolved. I used to put injections in my kid. I don't anymore. I've evolved. Okay. I used to eat meat. I don't eat meat anymore. I've evolved. I used to drink liquor. I don't drink liquor no more. I've evolved.
So Edward, even though I still believe there's still been evolutions to how I see things. So I'm not one of these blind religious people that you try to group me in with all the time. See, I'm taking shots right now. That's There's been a lot of I'm a believer now. I was a believer 20 years ago, but those are two totally different people. Had you met me 20 years ago versus now, I probably wouldn't be mature enough to have these conversations with you. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't.
And just
Wow.
So you know, Q, I only give you grief because like the conversations end up that way. But like I have faith myself. It's just not an organized religion. But I'm very
See, and you make the assumption that I am pro-organized religion, and that's not exactly true.
Yeah,
I acknowledge that there are benefits as well as downfalls and pitfalls to organized religion, but there are also benefits that come out of it as well.
Yeah, I think
you believe that there's no benefits
than we think. Our conversations just tend to butt heads more just because of the topics.
Yeah, this is too much, Edward. We agree way.
All right, I got to go, y'all. This is my first real full.
Yes.
And I got to come back on here because I get to talk. I get to cuss on your show.
Yeah. See, you see how I be controlling myself on your show? Good Lord.
I had to give Nick a pep talk. I'm like, all right, Nick, I remember it's a different audience.
I'm like, I got this. I got it.
And I don't know that Nikki shared it, but I've had probably 6 or 7 people who inbox me is like, I like when Nikki's on the show. I love it when Nikki's on the show.
Wow, that's great.
I'm so excited.
All right, I gotta go. Bye, everybody.
Good night. Thanks for coming.
All right, Nikki's, we done? We finished?
Well, yeah, because ultimately Dr. Bright wanted to talk about the post.
And we didn't get to it. That's all right.
Now that he's off, maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow, or maybe we do a little impromptu session, because I think it was definitely an important post to break down. The woman not having sex and the woman not having sex and the man not paying.
See, I already broke it down. That's why I like my 30 on the 3. I get it all out my system, really.
Okay, I said Quentin had a little bit of a.
Oh, did you already today?
I do it for myself. I got it out.
Well, no, but already. I didn't. But he just posted. I just posted it yesterday or this morning.
I just did a 30 on the 3 before we got on.
I didn't know that you did one before we came on.
I don't mean nothing. I just said
I just missed it. I was doing my hair. I just missed it. Well, we'll talk about it next week because I think it was an interesting conversation.
And I did another one before that too. Yeah. But yeah, all right. Look, yeah,
and I think we're gonna try to keep doing the StreamYard thing, y'all, for a while, because I'm having a hard time. Well, Q just gave me a solution, so I'll try that. But I was having a hard time getting Facebook to give me our videos to put on our YouTube channel, because ultimately I need to start pushing all the content to our YouTube channel for the event that I get us kicked off this fucking platform.
You can't download it on Zoom. You should be able to download it to your.
Well, Q has the original logins for Zoom, so I don't know if maybe it's like, you're not like the accepted user or something. But it was the links that you could put the link in to convert it to then add it to YouTube was not working all day today. I was so frustrated. But StreamYard goes directly to the YouTube page, so this will hopefully go right there.
Yeah, well, if you just log in using our credentials, then you may be able to do it that way. We can play with it.
I'll try. Yeah, because it was so frustrating today. And I've got like maybe 10 of our videos up on YouTube from last year, 2020. So these links worked at some point. They just are no longer working. And I'm really trying to push us over to the Facebook and get our content kind of growing over there as well. I know I didn't last minute post. I posted this morning, and I hope that you guys had all seen the tag. But just kind of be mindful. We'll try to keep doing StreamYard for another couple weeks, see if I can't push these over to YouTube, and then find a solution with Zoom in the meantime. But it is a different login every single Tuesday, so it's not going to be the same numbers. So I'll post it to the page, of course, and then you'll just kind of have to look at it on that way.
It was a great conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I appreciate the conversation. I'm glad we got to have this conversation. I hate having this kind of conversation by text. It's absolutely fucking impossible. There's too many things that need to be said, and emotions, and just inflections with voice. So I'm glad the conversation happened, because I know a lot of people have had a lot of questions to ask. But that's it for me. We go around the room real quick. Y'all got any news? Anything to drop on us?
Nah.
No. Boutique coming along.
Boutique going well.
Okay.
Still out with my broken finger. Got extended more time because it's a nasty. Yeah, it's literally broken all the way basically across, and then 2 other places. And it's when I looked at the X-ray today, I was like, did it even try to heal? Like,
right? Dang.
Which it doesn't do it that way. It's just he's like, you can't see the ligaments and tendons reconnecting. He said it's going to take a little bit longer than he thought.
Well, y'all make sure you go to her page, buy candles, buy candles, buy candles, buy candles.
Comfort and light.
Right.
All right, y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all next week.
Good
Okay,
night.
guys.
Good night, everybody.